Full name Hurculano Fecto. H-E-R-C-U-L-A-N-O, Fecto, F-E-C-T-E-A-U. Born in 1951, so I'm 62 years old. Portuguese and French Canadian, Quebecois, and I moved to Mission Hill in 1974. So I've been here 39 years. With a friend of mine and I, we made a few trips down here, hitchhiking down here, taking buses. As a child, I used to come into the city a lot, just at the holidays, with my mom back in the days when the old Jordan Marsh and the shopping area was big downtown, and downtown Boston was always decorated beautifully for the holidays. And so Boston was always the big city for where I came from. There's no city in New Hampshire that can compare. So I guess what attracted me to Boston was the fact that I wanted to get out of small town living. I originally slept on my friend and I were sleeping on couches that belonged in an apartment of a twin sister of a friend of ours in New Hampshire who lived on the street and was part of a film collective that produced the film Mission Hill and the Miracle of Boston. Houses on the street generally were going for $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. It has changed. The neighborhood has changed quite a bit in a lot of different ways. I would say that at that time there was more street crime in the surrounding areas. Both my friend and I were accosted a couple of times on the street. Neither of us ever harmed, but shaken down for money. That's more the sort of thing that was happening. It wasn't particularly violent crime most of the time. The neighborhood, I think, was much more diverse. There were more families. You probably know that Mission Hill originally was a largely Irish and German immigrant community, but when I moved here, it was already a very vibrant, multiracial, multi-ethnic community. And at that time, there were a lot more African Americans, a large Latino community, still a large Latino community, both in Mission Hill and a little further over Jamaica Plain in the Hyde Square area. Like I said, the year was 1974. Federal Judge Arthur Garrity had just issued a court order for the Boston Public Schools after a long, long struggle on the part of the NAACP and the black community to desegregate the schools. And actually part of what I came into the city for as well was to get a little bit more involved in political organizing. And I don't mean in the sense of electoral politics, but more in the sense of grassroots politics. When I first moved down here, I was already a couple years into my undergraduate education. I changed majors a couple of times. I got a couple of jobs that I was not satisfied with for the last weeks or a couple months at a time when I first moved here, but in the fall of 1974, I landed a job as a custodian at Boston State College, in the spot where Mass College of Art is located right now.
That tall black glass tower building was not there at the time. I was the custodian and was able to get free tuition from Boston State as an employee. So I ended up finishing up my bachelor's degree and getting my teaching certificate based on the education that I got as an employee at Boston State. I can't remember exactly what the figures were back then, but I believe my rent when I was living at 22 Fisher was about $135 a month. And I believe my tuition at Boston State was something like $600 a year. At the time, I don't think we're really supporting the desegregation order the way they should have, including President Ford at the time, Jerry Ford, the mayor of the city of Boston, Kevin White, a lot of the local politicians, state Representative Ray Flynn, who later became Mayor Ray Flynn, Louise Day Hicks, head of the Boston School Committee, and all of these politicians, of course, given Boston's political history, were Democrats. So it was interesting when today people consider like the Democratic Party is the party of progress and social equality and a home for black folks. Well, at that time in Boston, it wasn't exactly that way because of the fact that the Democratic Party was where it was at in terms of politics. So people who might have normally been Republican in another part of the country were Democrats in Massachusetts. In spite of the fact that I think I've pointed out that the neighborhood demographics have changed, I still think it's a diverse community. From the days of busing desegregation, when there were violent confrontations in other parts of the city like South Boston, Charlestown, Hyde Park High School, East Boston, I would say Mission Hill was largely immune to that, probably because it was a diverse community. Could probably say the same thing about Dorchester at the time. And I think if you walk around Mission Hill today, you'll see the same thing. And there may have been people in the years ensuing since I came here who've died, people who've moved away. But on the other hand, we have a large Somali community that's been integrating itself into Mission Hill. We have a beautiful mosque that was built just a few years ago, which there was some controversy about at the time from some elements in the community, but I think which most people have welcomed as just another way that we welcome everybody here. Still a large Latino community. There are still African Americans living here. The original Irish. If you hang out at Mike's Donut Shop, you'll see a lot of the older Irish folks that are still alive and still regular visitors, still active in the Democratic Party and in local politics. If you go to the ballot places to vote on election days, you see lots of signs, lots of people who don't all look the same, lots of animated but friendly conversations about the issues of the day. I think Mission Hill is a diverse, tolerant, welcoming, vibrant community that's adapted itself to change.